Well, welcome back fellow motorcycle enthusiasts. Today we're diving into a showdown between two heavyweight cruisers, Indian's new 2025 112 Power Plus Chieftain and Harley's 2025 Street Glide 117. Let's see which bike comes out on top.
To last with the webs I'm weaving, I could change the past with all I'm achieving. Got my foot on gas, never stop competing. If you break like glass, then this life's gonna eat 'em. Make mistakes real fast, then you learn how to beat 'em. If you take off the cast, you can see all the healing. If the pain's in the past, move on from the grieving. Put your foot on the gas, no, never stop competing, yeah.
First up, let's get straight to the point and talk horsepower. The Indian Chieftain Power Plus packs a punch with its 126 horsepower engine, while the Harley-Davidson Street Glide 117 isn't far behind with 105 horsepower. That's almost a 21 horsepower difference. Now I'd say it's not far behind, but in terms of percentages, that's significant. But it's just not about raw horsepower. Torque is where it gets interesting. The Chieftain Power Plus delivers a massive 133 foot-pounds of torque, compared to the Street Glide's 130 foot-pounds of torque. On the surface, that's not a whole lot of difference. Now let's throw in weight. The Indian Chieftain Power Plus weighs in at around 820 pounds, while the Harley-Davidson Street Glide tips the scales at about 811 pounds. It's definitely a heavyweight bout. These bikes are no lightweights. But what happens when we throw a 200-pound rider into the mix? Let's calculate the power to weight ratio for both motorcycles. For the Chieftain Power Plus, that's 126 horsepower divided by 1,020 pounds, giving us a ratio of 0.12. For the Street Glide, we have 105 horsepower divided by 1,011 pounds, resulting in a power to weight ratio of 0.10. Looks like the Chieftain 112 Power Plus has the advantage here. So what does that mean in terms of real-world performance? Well, I would say that if you put both bikes on a drag strip in stock form, the Chieftain 112 Power Plus would beat the Street Glide over a quarter mile. That's my prediction, at least based on the power to weight figures. It's been my experience that typically when it comes to quarter mile drag races, the horsepower figure is usually the key. And at 126 horsepower, and when you compare the power to weight ratio figures with a 200-pound rider, you can see the Chieftain definitely has the advantage. But having said that, in terms of real-world riding, both bikes have very similar torque. 133 foot-pounds versus 130, that's basically identical. And you can get the Harley Street Glide 117 up to around 130, 140 horsepower quite easily, but we're talking spending dollars. And it's not hundreds of dollars, it's thousands of dollars. Don't forget, the Chieftain 112 Power Plus has 126 horsepower stock. Power to weight ratios is not the only thing that's important when comparing two motorcycles. And if you are considering a Chieftain 112 Power Plus, do yourself a big favour and test ride the Street Glide 117. Vice versa, if you are considering the Street Glide 117, do yourself a big favour and test ride the Chieftain Power Plus 112. Now you guys know I'm an Indian fan, and if I was going to buy a Chieftain 112 Power Plus, the first thing I would be doing is test riding the Street Glide 117, because I'm a fan of both brands of motorcycles. I like Indian just as much as I like Harley. As it happens, I'm favouring the Indian lineup at the moment, but the new 2025 Harley lineup certainly has some gems in there which I find very attractive, and I will go into that in another video. But suffice to say, don't be just one-eyed brand loyal. Do yourself a huge favour and test ride both motorcycles before making a decision. Now let's look at some of the strengths and weaknesses of each motorcycle, starting with the Chieftain 112 Power Plus. In addition to the 112 water-cooled 126 horsepower, 133 foot-pound of torque engine, the new Chieftain also comes with advanced rider assist features. It comes with blind spot warning, tailgate warning, rear collision warning, bike hold control with lean sensitive ABS braking and traction control. For comfort and convenience, we have keyless ignition, central locking saddlebags, they lock via a button on the bike or via the key fob, cruise control, adjustable windshield, and a USB charging port. Also available is a range of customization options featuring various performance, comfort and technology options to personalize the motorcycle. Now, perceived weaknesses for the Chieftain 112. Number one is weight. The Chieftain Power Plus is quite heavy, which might affect maneuverability for some riders. Starting at around $26,499, it's a significant investment. And the advanced features and technology might be overwhelming for some riders who prefer a simpler riding experience. Now let's look at Harley's new 2025 Street Glide 117. The Street Glide features the classic batwing fairing with integrated LED lighting for a sleek look, and of the Road Glide and Street Glide, I do find the Street Glide more appealing visually. In terms of comfort, the one-piece seat design and adjustable rear suspension have been upgraded to ensure long-distance comfort. Advanced tech includes a 12.3-inch TFT touchscreen display, customizable riding modes, and a high-quality audio system. Safety features include ABS, traction control, and similarly to the Chieftain, electronically linked braking for enhanced safety. And I might add, for the first time, the Chieftain Power Plus comes with the hill hold control, as the Harley has had since its introduction of RDRS on their touring motorcycles. Now let's look at the weaknesses of the Street Glide. Similar to the Indian Chieftain Power Plus, the Street Glide is quite heavy, which may affect maneuverability. And to be honest, both bikes are heavy compared to the lighter weight Softail Sportster lineup of Harley and Indian's Chief Scout lineup. And it really will come down to how each motorcycle carries its weight. Now, for me personally, I ride an Indian Chief, which carries its weight very low, and so low speed balance is just sensational. But I did find the Challenger, when I test rode it, that carried its weight a bit higher. Again, this is where you would need to test ride both motorcycles just to see what they've done in terms of weight distribution, because I know the new Street Glide 2025 Street Glide is better to ride in terms of balance and maneuverability than the previous models. So again, you've got to get there and test ride each of these motorcycles if you're considering one or the other. Another downside of the 2025 Street Glide is price. Starting at around $27,749, it's also a significant investment. And the advanced features and technology might also be overwhelming for some riders who prefer a simpler riding experience. But then, if that's the case, when I think about it, you wouldn't be looking at either of these motorcycles, you'll be looking for a simpler designed motorcycle. So is that really a con? Now let's talk about aesthetics. I prefer the looks of the Street Glide over the Road Glide in the Harley camp. And interestingly now, I prefer the look of the Chieftain over the Challenger, even though I typically like frame mounted fairings. You know, looks is purely subjective. And really what I find most appealing is not important. It's what you find appealing that's most important. But I will throw my hat in the ring and say that, yeah, I love the look of the new Chieftain 112 Power Plus. That front fairing just makes such a difference. I know it's basically a Challenger with a different fairing on it, but the tweaks they've made, the changes they've made, the way that front fairing hugs and wraps over the tank, and just the overall design of it, to me is just sensational. So if it was on looks alone, I would definitely be going the Chieftain for myself, but I would still ride the Street Glide 117. And if the 2025 Harley-Davidson Street Glide rode better than the Chieftain, I would buy the Street Glide. Because as good as the Chieftain looks, the bike still has to ride exactly as you want it to ride. We've covered engine capacity, power and weight. Now let's look at some more figures. Both bikes have a 6-speed transmission. Fuel capacity is 6 gallons on the Harley and 5.8 gallons on the Chieftain. Seat height is basically identical at 26.4 inches for the Harley and 26.5 inches for the Chieftain. Starting prices at $27,749 for the Harley and $26,895 for the Chieftain. Now these are US dollars, and that is for the Chieftain Limited too, by the way, not the Dark Horse. Now in terms of features, some may prefer the 12.3 TFT screen of the Harley, while others may prefer the old school analog gauges and TFT combination of the Chieftain. And finally, in terms of fuel economy, the Harley's going to return 44 miles per gallon estimated, and the Chieftain's going to be a little bit thirstier at 40 miles per gallon estimated. That's US miles per gallon. Now realistically, both bikes offer impressive performance and a range of advanced features. The Harley-Davidson Street Glide has a slightly higher price tag but offers a larger fuel capacity and better fuel economy. The 112 Indian Chieftain Power Plus, on the other hand, boasts more horsepower and torque, along with some unique tech features like blind spot warning and tailgate warning. At the end of the day, which one do you think suits your needs better? Bye for now. Oh, and don't forget to like and subscribe if that's your thing. In addition to the new Chieftain's 2025 Chieftain 112 Power Plus engine